Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yep. All right. Fuck it. Matt Walsh's sordid history as a radio host exposed. The co-host of the Matt and Crank program, Matt Walsh defended political violence and teen pregnancy, shocked an intern with a stun gun, performed racist impressions of black men, and said we should probably lost our republic after Reconstruction. Oh, boy. Let's see. From... Fuck, I'm still sick. From early 2010 through August 1st of 2011, he co-hosts a radio show called the Matt and Crank program, along with Andrew Crank Murr, at the Beach 93.5, based in Georgetown, Delaware. The show featured all the worst of Walsh's bluster and bigotry without the production value given to his current work as a host for the Daily Wire. Okay. And yes, he's been recently leading a campaign against children's hospitals providing gender-affirming care, etc., etc. A review of Walsh's commentary for the Matt and Crank program reveals that the pundit had previously praised violent political action saying that enacting change means that you have to make people hurt. Holding signs and yelling loudly will not make anyone hurt. Also claimed that we probably lost our republic after Reconstruction, and that as the Anglo-Saxons, which are the original Americans, die off, our identity and our culture goes with it. Whoo, boy! Okay. Great replacement theory all the way back 11 years ago. Let's see. Here we go.
Well, our founding fathers had very specific goals in mind that they wanted to accomplish. It wasn't a generalized sense of outrage. It was, these are our goals that we want to accomplish. And by the way, they were willing to back it up with guns and violent force. If you want extreme things to happen, you have to be willing to go to extremes. The civil rights movement, they had specific goals. They boycotted. The people that were oppressing them, they made them hurt. They didn't just hold signs, they made them hurt.
You're equating your Tea Party rally to the civil rights movement. Oh my God.
I would say that it's time for extreme measures. I'm not advocating violence, but why are we limiting ourselves? I'm just posing one possibility here. Let's say that next tax day, what if 10 million people didn't file their taxes? I know everyone's like, well, you got to file your taxes. Well, our founding fathers, everyone keeps bringing up our founding fathers. They were willing to pick up guns and kill people for what they wanted. A sign won't do it, and calling your congressman won't do it. Well, our founding fathers...
What a, absolute fucking cowardice and that kind of shit. I'm not saying, that we should do a violence, but we should do a violence because it worked before. What the fuck, dude? Come on. And then... let's listen to this one.
But what I was trying to say, if you want extreme change, you must take extreme action. What you have to do is look at the situation and decide what exactly you want to have happen, and then you have to honestly approach it and say, what do we have to do to make this happen? But it is in fact true that you have to make people hurt. And I'm sorry, but holding signs and yelling loudly will not make anyone hurt, and it's not going to get...
Yeah, it's a good point. The guys at the Boston Tea Party dressed as Native Americans, so the local tribe would be blamed instead of them. Yeah, that's true. That's totally true.
Anything changed? Calling your congressman probably makes you feel good about yourself, and I'm very happy for you. But that doesn't really get anything done. And you're not going to change the system by calling a congressman, and you're not going to change the system by voting out a few incumbents, and you're not going to change the system by voting in Republicans.
And it's interesting too because Matt Walsh is one of those dudes who is like he always has harsh words for any type of protest and stuff if it's something that he doesn't agree with. But then he's fallen back onto his more like violent advocacy when it comes to things like children's hospitals.
I think we're at the point now where we have to purge the system of all parties, okay? And everyone says, well, it's naive to vote for an independent. All right, well, if that's the attitude you're going to take, that any measure of extreme change is just naive, then what are you doing? What's the point? What is the point of even trying? Most people will admit that we've been on this path not for a year because of Obama, not for 10 years because of Bush, not for 20 years because of Clinton, not Reagan, not Carter. We've been on this path for 100 years or more. We probably lost our republic after Reconstruction.
Why after Reconstruction? This is an interesting one. Why and specifically after Reconstruction?
want actual change that isn't going to reverse itself in 10 years or 5 years or in 1 year, then you do have to look at extreme action. And I will tell you the extreme action that I am now referring to. What needs to happen, I think, first and foremost, and it starts with taxes, doesn't it? It started that way with the revolutionaries. And by the way, you go to these tea parties, you got people there literally dressed up like it's a costume party, dressed up like our founding fathers, dressed up like Samuel Adams and so forth. They're the ones that keep harkening back to the revolutionary times. You're the ones, Tea Party people, that are comparing yourself in a not subtle way at all to the revolutionaries.
But then you forget what they did to accomplish their goal.
Right. I'm saying, okay, you guys are dressing up like revolutionaries. You're calling this the Tea Party. Don't you understand what they did? Even the Tea Party was an illegal act. It was trespassing and vandalism. Don't you get that? Okay, you don't compare yourself to them because you're not willing to do what they did.
Yeah, but are you? And that's the thing that's always kind of interesting about this. Matt Walsh and these types of dudes always try and like rant and rave about doing stuff and doing a harder thing and blah 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 blah. But then like all you do is just fucking talk about it too. Like what the fuck? That's so fucking weird. I don't understand this whole idea of we probably lost our republic after Reconstruction. I don't know what that's supposed to allude to. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Called and defended for political violence and many more recent examples, calling for real men to assault drag queens, defending secession after January 6th, storming of the Capitol, and defending violence against abortion providers in response to a mass shooting. Huh. Fascinating. This is the one that I think is really interesting, though. This is going to be... Wow, this is long, though. What the fuck? Is this one just not, like, clipped very well?
See,
Okay, that was my fucking ears.
Doing recently, like in the 20th century. But ever since they started keeping records, in 1957 was the peak for teenage pregnancy. 1957. Not 2009,
well, back
not
then,
today.
All of them were supposed to have kids. Like, that's when you had kids.
That's my point, okay? So to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Even biologically, and this is me just stating, right now I'm going to start by just stating facts. So fact number one, it's not a new phenomenon. Fact number two, in fact, it's a phenomenon that was more common earlier in history, and for the first 6,000 to 10,000 years of human existence, it was a normal thing. Fact three, girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Yeah.
Okay? That's biological. That's a fact, all right?
Okay.
Just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. But what happened recently, and this is the fourth fact, recently in the last 30 years or so, we decided that that's way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that
no, girls are no.
Because girls were getting married early, and marriages were lasting longer. You very rarely hear about like these relationships that go to their your diamond anniversary, your 50th anniversary, and all this. That's a dying breed of people out there.
Yeah, and those were all people that got married very young. That's why
they're still alive.
Yeah, that's why you can have someone in their 70s who's celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary because they got married when they were teenagers. So what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy; it's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem. And
Gotcha. You got it. Listen, it's very simple. Matt Walsh thinks that young girls in their teens need to be wed and bred. Wed and bred. Oh, here we go. It gets worse. Let's keep going.
Society. It's only problematic when you are not married and you don't have the man there to help you take care of the kids because he's a coward. And the reason why we have that now are for two reasons. Because we have in current society, we live in the age of extended adolescence, where people live at home until they're 26. They go to college, which is where most people regress maturity-wise and become even more ridiculous.
That's a good point.
So we tell people that essentially you're a kid who should not have adult responsibilities until you're about 27. And then maybe when you're in your 30s, you can start having kids. Even though biologically, when you start having kids in your 30s, that's dangerous. Mm-hmm. That's when miscarriages go skyrocket. That's when birth defects skyrocket. That biologically is too late to start.
This is fucking wild, dude. This is absolutely fucking wild.
To start having a family.
But I think the problem with teenage girls getting pregnant now is they have no real way of, sustaining the family. Let's say that the boyfriend stays in the picture. That kid's not going to be able to go out and get a job along with her to make enough money to raise the family.
That's why, but I don't want to.
Ooh, hey, based class conscious co-host. I'm just fucking around. Oh boy.
I don't want my words to be misinterpreted, as I know they will, because Matt's saying teenage girls should get pregnant. No. What I'm saying is that unwed teenage girls should not get pregnant.
Right.
Much like an unwed 23-year-old girl probably shouldn't get pregnant either, because she's probably not in a position.
But if she is a wed teenage girl, it's totally fine. Gotcha. Okay. Sure. What the fuck, dude?
Considering the fact she's not married, there's not a stable family to really take care of the kid. But the idea now is that what we say is that every person, every kid, ideally, should go to college and be career-minded.
Right.
Every single person. But that's just not the reality. And there's a lot of girls out there that don't want that, okay? That's not what they want. They want to get married at a young age, settle down, and start having a family. And up until about 1950, that was normal. And then we decided that's not okay anymore. But we're working against the tide of not only biology, but human civilization. So the problem.
It's a bold stance, Matt Walsh, to make claims about biology for why you should smash but not pass that young teenage bride of yours. That's bold.
Is that ideally you would have 17. Okay, I would see nothing wrong with a society like what was happening up until about 1950. Where 17-year-old girls are getting married to 17 or 18-year-old guys that are not kids, they're men, and they're starting a family. I mean, that used to be, and then you also have the other type of person, the other group of people. They get educated. It used to be you had educated people that went and did that, and they had educated jobs, and you had other people that were more working class, and they started families at a young age, and you had that, and that's okay.
What was the life expectancy back then?
It wasn't that much different. You're talking about. What, 1957, people getting pregnant? Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of them some of those are still alive.
Well, most of them are still alive. But, let's say the oldest.
So, the life expectancy it's still extending because even as they get to the latter years of their life, the medical technology is around to keep them alive longer. But you talk about civilization, but, having civilization grow, but in our current.
How does a marriage license suddenly make a teenager's body more prepared for pregnancy? Oh, I don't think he's worried about whether or not a soft and supple teenage girl is able to be pregnant. Oh, no, I'm sure he's very, very, very sure of that. I'm sure he's thought about it a lot. He's talking, decisively about, whether or not societally it should happen. And listen, when a guy looks like this and he's very, very concerned about whether or not a girl that's 16 years old can handle being pregnant, I don't really think he's looking at it from a very good lens. This is very creepy shit.
Civilization in our world, our Western world, our America, isn't this detrimental to society, them getting pregnant like this? Because I know what you're saying, not everybody's geared for college, but where did they go? At this point, they don't have the resources. I don't feel they have the resources to go out and start this life at such a young age. And not by it's not their fault, it's the American society's fault. We don't allow for people that young to really go out and start a life on their own at 16, 17, 18 years old.
Because they're still in high school.
And that is the way the education system's been put together, is that you do have to finish all that stuff to even be looked at for a career where you could actually earn enough money. So I know I agree with you in one respect, but in the actual social aspect I have to disagree with you, because these people have nowhere to go, and what happens is they end up getting on welfare and they end up being a drag on everyone else.
Yes, it's not good that these girls in high school are getting pregnant. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is that if society was if society was different, and that we stopped insisting that you're a kid until you're 25, and we just deal with the reality that at about 16 you're an adult who is mature and can make decisions. You are that at 16. I don't care what anybody says. And if you're going to tell me it's different, well, then how come for the first 10,000 years of human civilization, that's the way it was? It's just recently where all of a sudden we're all retards until we're 25? I mean,
Wow, dude. Holy shit. Hang on. Let me think about that for a second. So at about so I've got the transcript on this. At about 16, you're an adult who is mature and can make decisions. No. I mean, biologically, that's definitely not true at all. I mean, you can make decisions when you're 4. Doesn't mean that they're good decisions. But as far as like brain development goes, 16, nah, dude, nah. And I'm sure you don't care what anybody else says. After all, Matt, age is just a number, right, buddy? Age is just a number. Whoo boy, this is some hot takes right here.
Well, I think it's because there were a lot more hands-on jobs back then.
Those jobs still exist. It's just that now they're not as plentiful.
There used to be a day where you go out and there would be a couple hundred people working on a construction project. Now we've got so much machinery. We've got so many companies. We don't manufacture things anymore. You used to be able to go to a factory and get a job and start putting stuff together, work on an assembly line.
Right.
All those jobs have gone overseas. So what I'm saying is that the manual labor, the quote unquote, and I don't mean anything disrespectful by this, but the dumb labor, the labor that you don't necessarily need a college education for, it's just not as prevalent as it once was. So you can't start a family as young as you used to because there's just not that much money to be made.
But there's still just as many jobs where you really don't need a college education. No, there's just as many jobs where in reality you don't need a college education. What I mean by that is I know that okay, people go, they get a college education just because they're told that's what they're... In fact, they get a college education. I'll put that in quotes.
Yeah,
because many people go to college and aren't educated.
Wasn't he saying earlier that, like, everybody should go to college or something like that? I don't think he holds that belief anymore. I think Matt Walsh is pretty anti-colleges at this point,
in anything except how to get drunk, okay?
Yeah, agreed.
And that's probably like half the people that go. So that's the reality. But there are jobs like, to be a retail manager at Home Depot. Okay, yeah, to get that job now you have to have a degree. But that degree's not going to help you be a good manager. I mean, it should be like that's not going to help you be a good leader at a retail store. Is that you have business? You learned about businesses because you read books about it. That's ridiculous. I mean, in fact, we know about many of the Fortune 500 people that own some of the largest corporations in existence don't have a college education because to be a leader, that's not an education thing. That's about a character.
Well, it's a hands-on thing.
Right.
A lot of those people ended up doing hands-on training. Even if you,
I'm going to skip forward a little bit because in this they just start talking about like. College and jobs and shit is boring.
Go to Bill Gates, who is obviously a problem.
Yes, but the what they're trying to work towards, where
true is the horse behavior of these same-aged girls when they get to college.
Sluts.
They start, these girls. Believe me, when I went to
whoa, hang on a second. Here we go.
and 18-year-old girls that are still in high school. College and everyone gets that college job and everyone is basically on their parents' dime until they're 26. That world has not happened. That plan has not worked. It never will. And I got some more news for you. 17-year-old girls and 18-year-old girls that are still in high school or just getting into college, many of them want biologically and metaphysically and with everything in their body, they want to settle down, they want to start a family, and that's always going to be that way no matter.
Matt Walsh truly understands what women want, You're 17, and you're thinking about college. Nah, you just want to be wed and bred. Pump me full of semen, Matt Walsh. I want your babies.
What you do.
And I think a good example as to why that's probably true is the horse behavior of these same-aged girls when they get to college.
Sluts.
They start,
yes, they're definitely just desperately trying to get a baby. That makes what the fuck.
These girls, believe me, when I went to the University of Maryland, I was a little bit older than everybody. It was like you get there and you see these like innocent girls, and by the end of the year, it's just like the stories you've heard about them. It's like this internal need to breed, and it just.
Gotcha. It's not any other reason, not a biological impetus of like horniness. It's not being able to exercise your freedom. No, it's just because they desperately just want to breed. Now, the sexual component of our existence is intrinsically tied to reproduction. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to rub our reproductive organs together. But to like simply reduce that to, well, they just want to be filled full of baby batter and bloated up with a bunch of swimmers. Like, look, it's very reductive and it's very strange, and it does not necessarily denote that they then want that kind of life right then and there. It just means they want to fuck.
Just comes out at the wrong time. They're out there trying to get an education, but meanwhile
It's not the wrong time. That's to biology. That's the perfect time. That's when they're, like Matt said, is most fertile. But society has told you that when you're 18, that's when you're an adult, not when you're 16 or 17.
And that's the problem.
And then everybody else says that you have to go to college after that, which means you're technically not an adult till you're.
And that's a problem? How is that a problem? And okay. To biology, that's the perfect time. That's when they're, like Matt said, is most fertile. But society has told you that when you're 18, that's when you're an adult, not when you're 16 or 17. Yeah, that's a problem. Matt Walsh is a groomer. That's a fucking groomer, dude. What the fuck is this? Holy shit. Oh my god. Wow. And there's even more. Holy shit, dude. And I guess he like shocked somebody in the ass. Let's see. Is this I guess we could just watch him shocking somebody in the butt. Fuck it, whatever. I can do that real quick. Wait. Before I commit to this, let me make sure that we're not seeing any actual cheek. Nah. We're good. Okay. Nah, we're good. Okay. Let's do this. Wait. What the fuck? All right, hurry.
You were my friend. We are. That's why we're doing it in a
This is for
closed
your own
environment.
good. This is for your own good, intern.
I love you so much. I'm hurting you.
This hurts you more than it hurts me.
Yes, it does. Oh God, I'm tingly with anticipation.
1, 2, 3, go.
Ow! Ow! Did it shock you too?
Oh. Wait, I only got like half a second.
That's all you're supposed to get.
I've been hit with a stun gun. I've been hit with like this man is so annoying. Yeah, he's fucking hella wrong. Let's see.
Let's try it one more time.
Let's get in the
That
butt.
hurts. You want me to hold on to you while we do it? That hurts. That was.
No, I'm not getting hit with this.
Was it good for radio? You want to do it in the butt?
I do. Yeah, I do kind of.
Maybe.
Let's just try it once in the ass.
Maybe off the edge. Oh, wait, no.
Go and turn around. Ready?
Yeah, all we get is the
I don't know
side
if we can
cheek.
put this on the blog section.
You got video of this?
Yeah, I got video.
One,
Hold
two.
on, let me zoom in. I don't know if I want to
2,
zoom in.
3, go. You got a pimply pale ass, bro.
Go! Ow! 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 Ow!
It doesn't really hurt that bad. It's really not that big of a deal. I've definitely gotten stun gunned in some pretty interesting places. Did you get contact shocked, or have you had the prong shot at you? Nah. I've never gotten hit with like the shootout prongs and shit. Just contact shocked from like all sorts of different devices and stuff. It's not that bad. Anyway, I'm just gonna wrap this little segment up by saying once again, Matt Walsh has juicy, hairy clam Chewbacca pussy lips, and yeah, he's apparently he's secretly a groomer. Yep. I mean, I'm sure we're all fucking shocked about that one, right? That's very, very strange. Somebody who's constantly rallying against that sort of thing, secretly being that thing. Yeah, who could have seen that coming? Fuck.